Hi, everybody. I'm Dorothy. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to talk about the weekend. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So what do we have that? What are those dates? June 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Let's get started to see what the astrology is like for Friday through the weekend and what we can anticipate. And when we're done that, we will do Astro Dice. I'm keeping them. People have been, anyways. I'm happy to. And the card. Okay, just a little added info, a little added tidbit. All right, let me share my screen with you. And we are going to look at the chart to begin with of Mercury stationary to direct. This is what it looks like just from my latitude, longitude. It's at 4 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So again, 24 hours on either side of this point is when we will feel it the most. Like there's just no movement, or the movement we are getting is slow and methodical, or there are still delayed responses. We know something's happening, but we still have to be patient and wait a certain time period for whatever it is. I'm still waiting for Comcast. Yeah, anyways. Xfinity, we'll call them out too. It's them, that's who they are. Anyway, so, delay, that stuff, that's just what happens. And we can feel that, and especially with that Mercury. I usually don't do stuff like that, but I did, and I'm going to leave it in. So one of the things that I've recognized, besides the Mercury stationary, we have talked about it for a while, for the last few days, so you're welcome to go back. I usually put the most prior video, right? It's going to connect either here or here, I'm not sure, at the very end, so you're able to go watch that. But again, one of the things that I still recognize here, if you look over here at the aspectarian, this is the same thing. This display over here is exactly what's going on in the center of the wheel. So we can see, look at the sun, oof, no aspects. Venus, look at that, no aspects. So right now, I just use the 6 aspects, the 5 Ptolemy and the quincunx. So sextile, square, conjunction, trine, opposition, quincunx. So other than that, the sun and Venus are both making no aspects. So they're hanging out all by themselves. So they kind of have this, free ride, free willy thing where they just get to do whatever they are doing. So the sun in Gemini is going to be like that. I believe I wrote it down here. Yeah, it looks like right through the 10th. The moon will make aspects though, but sun in Gemini, of course, the gathering and the research of information, gathering all those tidbits. Venus in Taurus in her own rulership is pretty happy there. And, we just get to make sure we understand what it is we value. Is it money? Is it things? Is it food? All of those things. What is it that you value the most? And then, so when we have those two hanging out all by themselves, they get their free reign. But, I decided I would put up midpoint stuff, right? I wanted to see if Venus was at the midpoint of anything. So I did put that up. We use a 360-degree circle for that. And we can see right here, this one right here, that Venus is halfway between the also unaspected sun and Jupiter. And the sun's not at the top of any of these. So the sun is not halfway between anybody. So what that looks like, why am I talking about that? That's pretty deep, but it's a useful tool. I got to get my computer closer. Here's Jupiter at 4 Aries. Here's the sun at 12 Gemini. And the halfway point between the two of those is approximately 6 degrees of Taurus. So it's within 1.5 degrees. So there we are. So that means Venus is now making a connection between these two other points. So Venus is now connected to Jupiter and to the sun. So what does that tell us? It tells me that we have an opportunity here to truly define what is important in your communication skills, your listening skills, and also that's Gemini. And then also what's important in the context of Aries, which is who am I? What is it that I need? What is it that I need to do for me? So we have all of that going on a Friday. That's a lot. right? It sure is. So that's one of the things that we have going on. That's more than one. We talked about Mercury stationary right now, and we're going to feel the slowness of that in one way or another for one more day through Friday, right? So that's this one more day. And then maybe even into Saturday. And then we also talked about Venus unaspected in her pureness of the Venus and Taurus. What I love, what I value, food, money, being outside, nature. You choose. It's what you value, not me. And then the Sun in Gemini hanging out all by itself. Again, you can see that right over here. I'm teaching you how to read the aspectarian. There's Venus, no aspects. What about Mercury? You see Mercury and the moon are connected, and then Mercury makes a square with Saturn. That's also a strong connection between the two. Communication, it slows us down. Two fixed signs, Taurus, Aquarius, slowing down the information. And again, it just means if you follow the rules, fill out the paperwork properly, listen to those in charge who say that this is how things have to be, because that's just the protocol of whatever it is you're doing, then that's what you have to do. And if you don't, then the difficulties of the square will show up. That's how squares work. All right, tomorrow we also have, and the next day, let's go grab that chart, Saturn retrograde. So now Saturn goes to its retrograde phase, and there it is. Where are you, Saturn? Here it is. So it's been sitting still at 25 degrees for about over a week now, and it will stay that way for another week or so. So if you definitely have anything at 25 degrees of any of the fixed signs, you're going to be feeling the pressure of Saturn asking for change or asking you to do the right thing, or to, like I just said, do the paperwork and do it the way you're being told to do it. I know some of us don't like, some of us buck against the system. Let's not try and not do that. But you're gonna cause yourself some issues. So when Saturn is stationary, oh, I don't have the card. It's right over here. Sorry, I should be more prepared. I'm very prepared. Saturn is going to retrograde for quite some time. So it retrogrades again here on the 4th, and it retrogrades all the way back to 18 degrees. And that doesn't happen until October 23rd. So it's going to be retrograding between 18 and 25 and 18 for quite some time. So there we are with the Saturn in Aquarius. And what else do I want to look for here? We also have the moon in Leo on the weekend. That's another fixed sign. So that moon in Leo is going to come through, and it's going to make, we're just going to animate this one because I don't actually have a chart created for this one. So this is for Sunday. Let's go ahead to Sunday. As the Earth spins, this is what it looks like. We're in on Sunday now, June 5th. Here's the moon moving forward as the Earth is spinning. Here's the moon rising in the east. That's what that looks like. And here it is, 22 degrees of Leo, which is the halfway point of the lunar nodes. Saturn is here too. So approximately midday, depending on where you live. This is 11 a.m. This is 9 a.m. West Coast. The moon is not rising if you're on the West Coast at this point. Do you know why? It's the spin of the Earth. We have this fixed grand cross right here. So when we have a fixed grand cross, it's created by the moon. So it's not going to be overly ambitious in a way. But the moon in Leo, whenever the moon's in a fire sign, we're always collectively feeling a little more spark. However, when it is making this square aspect to the nodes and to Saturn, we are going to feel the pressure of what is changing, because it can create a lot of life changes too. It's at midnight. I'm going to back up just a smidge. At midnight Eastern time on Saturday night, the 4th, is when the moon is making its perfect square to Uranus. So that's Saturday night into Sunday morning, depending on where you live. Sunday morning, early Sunday morning, if you're over in areas of like the UK. So that can create, sudden moments of inspiration, That moon in Leo loves to create. It's passionate, loves creating, loves to share when it's excited about things, but it also can be volatile. And I'm fussing with my Astro dice now, getting ready for those. Can also be very volatile and very much just super fiery, pushes us to create or to change habits. All right, we've got that going on. The Sun and Pluto are in an exact contra parallel with each other now. And that is powerful stuff, meaning powerful words. The things we say and do right now will have a lot of strength behind them. These guys are staying together for a little while. Let's see how long. See, the sun doesn't move very far right now because we're getting close to the solstice. And when the sun sits, it's the solstice, the sun sits still for a while and it doesn't move. So the sun and Pluto are going to be in contra parallel with each other for quite some time. So be impeccable with your words and listen well. That's a big lesson for what we can get for today, for the whole weekend, honestly. All right. Astro dice are next. What additional content does Spirit want us to know? And if you have a question, now's the time you can query that. It's a south node. Oh, it's a north node. It's a north node roll. All right, here we go. It is the north node in the sign of Sagittarius in the 11th house. So for somebody, for some of us out there, that north node collectively represents, what we're striving for, what we're moving towards, okay? As a collectively life path. Sagittarius is about truth and honesty, your truth, right? Being authentic. It's learning and education, experiencing life. Because when we experience something, it's very different than just book learning. That's Sag territory. In the 11th house represents the energy of groups and associations, humanitarian things, foreign countries. This is humanitarian aid to foreign countries. That's what this is. This is collective humanitarian aid to foreign countries. So we can see that in some areas. Of course, the Ukraine. There are other places where wars are going on, and we are not aware a lot of that. So if that is something you're aware of, then maybe that's something that you want to be working towards yourself. All right. So a lot of different ways that can play out. So Spirit is giving us this telling us that if you feel it is your path, part of your life path, that north node, to teach, to share, to be authentic, to philosophize with others in groups, finding your like-minded people, starting new groups, changing the way your group is so it suits now as opposed to when it was created. That's great. It's a great yes card. Yes, roll of the dice. We're picking cards next. That was a roll of the dice. All right. I would love you to come to my website. Please come and join me there. I do write a newsletter twice a month. It's just me. I don't spam people. I'm not one of those big groups that I'm automated enough, but not a lot. Both of these cards. So come and join me, DorothyMorganAstrologer.com. Thank you. I appreciate your time. Please just come and do it. The links are all below. What do you think this card means? Sacred Mountain. That's Machu Picchu. It's about taking a sacred journey. Now, do you have to travel here to experience it? Well, I was just talking about experiencing it. Maybe somebody out there needs to go, and this is their sign. This is your sign. You're going to go. I don't know if I would travel like that. I'm not a big traveler. However, the roll of the dice with that Sagittarius energy in 11th house, maybe somebody is traveling to a very sacred place to really connect with the energy of that sacred place, because sacred places are just that, so sacred. You can have your own personal sacred space in your neighborhood that you go to, and you can feel connected, grounded, and whole. And you can go and travel, wherever that is for you, going to your sacred place, whether it's internal or external, or even some of both. Now, right now, if I was to go out into the woods, first off, I won't be doing that right now. I picked up a few ticks last week. They were just walking on me. They were not buried in me. And those little buggers, I almost said the F word, but those, I can't stand them. I know, man, we need more birds. What happened to the birds that used to eat them? And the animals that used to eat them? That's a good question. But anyways, if I went out into a sacred place out in the woods, either the ticks would attack you, or you would just be carried away by the mosquitoes. So it's just not that time of year. Right now here in New England, it is super moist and the mosquitoes absolutely love it. So not going there. I will go out on my kayak and sit in the middle of a pond where people are fishing, and I just get to sit there and relax. How are you? What's your sacred space? Tell me below. I love to hear what you love to do. So that's my sacred space. I do love to walk on the ocean. I'm so far away from the ocean now compared to before. Before I was a half a mile, now I'm 30. And so it's still close enough. However, touristy time of year, so we'll pass on that. Find your sacred space. I love the water. So I got that kayak. I'm going to go out onto lakes and ponds where it is calm and quiet and less people. You know what I mean? All right. I'm goofing off now. Have a great weekend, everybody. And I will see you on the flip side. I'll see you on Monday. Blessings. Namaste.